Good afternoon. And on behalf of the family, thank you for coming. I know a lot of you are probably either not familiar or have never been to a baby naming that is actually part of a Jewish ceremony. So I will be doing, as I say, a little bit of teaching as I go through this. Just first of all, in the way of introduction, my name is Jim Heilborn, and I am a cantor. For those of you who do not have any idea what a cantor is, and you've heard of a rabbi, it's easily defined. A rabbi is, if you will, the interpreter of Jewish law. The cantor is the interpreter of Jewish prayer. So I've been doing this for, gosh, I should have been about 25, 30 years now. So we've been friends with the Marks family for quite a while. I knew the young ladies when they were young ladies. And I was still very young, but compared to when I first met them. But I was very flattered when they asked me if I would participate and actually conduct the naming. Now, for those of you who have little babies in the room yourselves, do not worry. If they cry, they're doing what babies do. They may just be dogs. That's a whole other story. Do not worry about it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't have to leave. I would rather you were here than not. So just enjoy, relax. This is about family. Speaking of babies, bring them on in. The more the merrier. So I just want to give you a little bit of background first, if I may. The rites and symbol of religion grow out of the nature, of human beings and religion. Ritual and symbol play a part in every phase of life. Many who oppose ritual and religion are the first to incorporate a great deal of it in other phases of their life. Marriage rings, for example, clothes, pictures of loved ones, the manner of greeting each other, introducing new ones. These are all rituals and symbols. And what we're going to participate today in is actually still just another ritual, something that makes it a little more special, if you will. So if you will, ritual is actually the invisible language of religion. It brings into our daily life the invisible world of spirit and the unseen presence of God. The lighting of candles on a Friday evening for Sabbath suggests the meanings and induces the mood of the Sabbath in a way that no treatise, no words can actually do. So rituals renew and fortify our sense of linkage with a tradition and with community. So having said that, today we're actually participating in something called Shalom Zachar. Not Sahar, Zachar with a Z. And what is that? A Shalom Zachar is a party to welcome the new baby, in this case, babies. And it's typically held at the newborn's home or a grandparent's home or a close friend. It can be held at a synagogue. It can be held almost anywhere where a group can gather. What's traditional about this is that traditionally words of Torah are shared and spoken. I will be providing those words of Torah, of lessons, of language. And there are several reasons for this ancient tradition. There's a Talmudic dictum that when a Zachar, which means, do I see a show of hands? Male is born, Shalom, show of hands, Shalom. What's shalom mean? Peace. We have a winner. Thank you. Comes to the world, hence the name Shalom Zachar on Shabbat. So what we have is a male born into, hopefully, peace. Okay? So we gather to celebrate in the hope that this Zachar, or these Zacharim, will study Torah and will bring peace to the world. It's said that when a baby develops in the womb, an angel touches him and teaches him the entire Torah. The Torah being the 5 books of Moses, the Bible. And just before his birth, the angel touches the child on his mouth, causing him to forget everything that he has just learned. But this introduction to Torah study makes it easier for him to relearn it later, after birth. And another purpose of the Shalom Zachar is to console the baby for this loss of Torah. So there's a Hebrew folk saying recorded in the Bible. And it's to indicate that a person's name can illustrate his or her character. The term is Kishmo Kenhu. Like his name, so is he, or she. That comes from Samuel. If, for example, a woman's name is Rina, meaning song, or it can also mean joy, and she is a musical person, then we might say that this person, to indicate this person, how appropriate her name was, because she's musical. Her name, she took on the aspects of her name. So traditionally, in other words, the name a child is considered, let me try that again. The name the child is given is considered to be a matter of great importance, having considerable influence on the development of that child's character. Although there are no codified rules how to name a child, in spite of what some people will tell you, it's very customary for us, for Jews, to name them after a departed relative. Now, I'm going to give you 2 rules of naming children, even though they haven't been codified. If you're Ashkenazim, which means European or Eastern European Jews, and I think you guys are both Ashkenaz, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, their families came from Eastern Europe. You are not supposed to name a child after a living relative. It's considered bad luck. But after somebody you want to honor, a deceased one. Now, I happen to be Ashkenaz also. My entire family's from Eastern Europe. So I was named, as were my brother, my sister, after deceased relatives. That's where my Hebrew name comes from. Now, just to show you how the Jews are, the Sephardic, those from the Middle East and from the Iberian area, they do name them after living relatives. So go figure. So you have a choice. Okay? So names in the Bible can also be seen to predict at birth what the person's character will be, as I said. For example, Yaakov, which happens to be my Hebrew name, it means usurper. It also comes from the word heel. For those of you familiar with the Old Testament, Jacob usurped his birthright from his brother. My brother used to claim I took all his stuff. I didn't think I did, but there you go. But there's the meaning of this important event. What they are doing, they've given their children names, but now they are giving them Hebrew names to keep them within the covenant. They've already fulfilled the first covenant, which is the circumcision. It's ritual, and it goes back to Abraham. But now they're taking the next step to a Jewish life for these boys by giving them Hebrew names. So, now I'd like you to share, first of all, Cheryl and Heath, I'd like you to tell everybody what your son's name is and why you chose that.
So, the baby's name is Stanford Hirsch. That's not his Hebrew name, obviously. And Stanford is Keith's paternal grandfather's first name. And Herschel was my paternal grandfather's first name. My dad.